Carl here. This video is going to be a video of going over the checkbox component and the checkbox list component. So the checkbox is just a toggle true or false value in UBot. There's two types. You can have style 1 and style 2. Style 1's like a switch type, like this. Change its colour to danger so we can see. You can also change its icons for the unchecked and checked icons, its label colour and its label. There's a style 2 which is like a standard checkbox, which you can also change its colour and its label. We'll go back to style 1. You can set its variable here for inside UBot. So let's call it checkbox, and if we export that, just select my checkbox list, export that. So it's a little slow because I'm screen recording, and we'll just paste that into here. Got our checkbox. Let's just view the debugger. You can see it's false. Now it's on. Now it's off. True, false. Yeah, just close out of that, sorry. Select the checkbox again. The container ID is here. This is for if you had a container you can add components to, which will house the components so you can move them around. There's another video on the container which will describe how to use the containers properly, but you can rename this container to, let's call it main. Give it a main ID. Maybe not main. Let's call it container 1. Don't know what happened there with the main, maybe that shouldn't be used. And then when we go back to the checkbox, we can select here, it'll come up as container 1, which we just renamed, and we can select that. So if we preview that now, when we turn the checkbox off, it'll show and hide, toggle the container. That's quite straightforward. Sorry, 1 second, running out of power. For the next one is the, well, let's just delete that one, the checkbox list. And this is a scrollable checkbox list, so if you had like a lot of websites, you can add them in here. You can see the scrolls come up once it's put. You can add a label. For example, and its variable. Like that. And this list is scrollable. Now, if people seem to don't understand how to keep them checked by default or not checked by default. So all you have to do is select what you want checking by default and what you don't want them checking before you export. So if you want them all off, turn them all off, you know, and then export it, and they'll all be off by default, or they'll be on if you check one. So if I export that, Yeah, it's really slow with this screen recording. Sorry about this. So just delete that and paste in a new one. So you can see Google's checked by default. Review the debugger. Got Google is true and Facebook is false. So that's how you do that, and the list is scrollable. You can also add a label to it or not. You can also change this to a radio type, where if you check them, you can only check one at a time in the list. And I think that's about it. That's all there is to checkboxes. Quite simple. Thanks a lot, Cal.